Hary Tabach, the captain first rank of the US Navy, retired. Hello, Hary.
Hello, Henry. Hello. Good to see you.
It's nice to have you with us. Putin recently stated that the tragedy, I like that when he says that tragedy that Israelis and Palestinians are currently experiencing, like he is not the tragedy, was the result of the failed US policy in the Middle East. Do you remember him shaking Hamas hands in the Kremlin? Anyway,
yeah, and
is Putin the beneficiary of
said,
this situation? But it's understandable. But what kind of a benefit do you think he really understands that he's not it's not really good to be a beneficiary of what's going on in the Middle East right now? And how is it going to end for Russia? Do you think?
Well, it's beneficial to him because the oil prices go up every time
That's
there's a war in the Middle East. I really, to be honest with you, I don't really care what he thinks. He's a tyrant. He's a henchman. He's a KGB thug. He needs to go. We got to get rid of him. But it is ironic, as you're saying, because originally he went to war with Ukraine and invaded Ukraine because he wanted to get rid of the nationalism and anti-Semitism in Ukraine. So it appears to me that the anti-Semitism is in Ukraine, but the pogroms are in Russia. So that is. It would be funny if it wouldn't be so sad. And all those tyrants, all those terrorists, and Iran and Russia are terrorist states, and they deal as terrorists. We keep thinking we're fighting a war with armies and some nations, but no, it is just large terrorist organizations. But you know what? With a flare of anti-Semitism all over the world, Kamala Harris, our vice president, announced today that she and the president will not put up with any kind of racism or any kind of discrimination, and they're starting a new program of anti-Islamophobia. So that they consider that there is a prejudice and racism against Islam and Muslims in the United States. Not that we have now pogroms at our university on the Jewish people and the Jewish kids and on the streets. And this is bizarre. This is just bizarre that what our administration in the United States is doing. I know you don't like to criticize it, but I am an American citizen. I have all the right to do so.
Yeah, well, this is why we're calling you. We don't like the criticism. This is why we're calling Hary Tabach, because he can criticize everyone, because he's an American citizen. Well, I agree with you, Hary. I agree with you, Hary. But the only thing I don't agree with is that this is just bizarre. I mean, this is the logics of it. When you turn a blind eye on a problem, the problem grows to a disaster.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we should have killed that monster at its birth. And again, once we start allowing to get money from oil, and they see the weak leadership in the West. This is the result. As soon as there is a weak leadership, we're going to have killings. We're going to have wars. We're going to have gulags. We're going to have all kinds of problems. As soon as we get a leader who is not popular, who may not be liked by everyone, but who's a strong leader and makes unpopular decisions, this is when there is a peace and prosperity around the world.
Well, the first thing, in an oath of the president of any country, there should be a line included that I'm not a $100 bill and not everyone should like me.
That's right.
Yeah, So,
but he should represent everyone. Everybody did not vote for him, but should represent everyone that is his citizen, should worry about the country. And today we see that Hamas has captured Russian citizens, Russian-speaking people, former Soviet citizens like myself in Israel. But somehow he's not very, very quick to free them and to go to war with Hamas, as he was willing to do with Ukraine, to supposedly free Russian speakers like myself and many others. And therefore he destroyed the entire cities of these people. So that's how he liberated them from the Ukrainian so-called fascists and Banderovцы. And yet, here we go. There's a bunch of Russian speakers and a bunch of citizens of Russia right now in captivity by Hamas. Somehow, he invites them for tea and coffee, or maybe a little vodka. Well, they don't drink. Maybe they do. I don't know. But the thing is, what I'm saying, that this is just so cynical so sinister that I think that any normal person should be sick
Well,
from behavior of Russia and Iran.
Yes, well, this is very Russian way. I mean, they neglect the value of life itself. They don't care. There are a lot of Russians in Russia, so that's enough. It's like, cannon fodder or something like that. But let me ask you,
as they say that the women will give birth to more Russians, so there's no point to preserve them. Unfortunately,
what a lovely logic. It's like you haven't been born by your mother.
Right.
It's like,
fortunately, Ukrainians, that this is what they share with Hamas and Islamists. Unfortunately, Ukrainians and Israelis preserve lives, and lives do value things. So to take side of somebody who does not value life, even of their own children, and those who value life, not only the children, but others, that's on whose side we should be. As Golda Meir said, the wars will end when our enemies would love their children more than they hate our children.
Yes, exactly. I was just talking to Mark Babot, and he already cited these words of Golda Meir just as well. They were running through my mind every day these days. How should Ukraine act to have that powerful lobby in U.S. politics as Israel has? Well, I know Israel has been defending itself since forever, 75 years in a row. Since the moment existence of the state starts. So this is the very big history of defending the borders and sovereignty. And for Ukraine, this is not that long. But still, what should Ukraine do, you think, to make, to deliver the message to American politics?
That is an excellent question. Thank you so much. This is just an excellent question. To begin with, I think that Ukraine can vote in the United Nations, which really does not matter in a big sense, but just as a good gesture. It doesn't cost Ukraine anything. It doesn't really, but it does make people feel better in the United States if Ukraine in the United Nations would vote with the United States rather than with Russia and Iran. Now Ukraine is being abstaining from votes when it comes to Israel, but still, we as Americans would like somebody who we want to win, somebody who we've been investing billions of dollars into their liberty and independence would vote along with us, share our values with us. So I think that Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Ukraine should really take lessons from the Defense Department of Ukraine, from the military of Ukrainians in diplomacy. And secondly, I think it is very, very important. What has Israel done? For example, when Israel was established, the Democratic Party was 100% for Israel, and Republican Party was not. So Israel did not start bashing and cursing and dumping buckets of dirt on the Republicans. On the contrary, they invited them to Israel. They said, we will pay for it. Come in. The school teachers that were Republicans, the university professors that were Republicans, the politicians that were Republicans, and they would come back and say, you know what? Israel is great. Well, you know what? Now 100% of Republican parties on Israel's side. Israel, the best ally in the United States for Israel is our Republican Party. I think that this is what Ukraine should do. Instead of bashing and putting a bucket of dirt on Tucker Carlson. Yeah, I don't agree with Tucker Carlson on Ukraine either. But what should we do? Tucker, come look for yourself what Ukraine is all about. Let us show you. And I bet you Tucker Carlson is somebody like you who is not on a payroll of someone. He has a mind of his own. He has a stamina of his own.
Yes.
He will speak out. He will he will deliver the truth. The same, just like Sam Schuster. I mean, they come to Ukraine and they invite those people, lobby them. Israel spends $1 billion a quarter on lobbying in the United States. Taiwan spends $700,000 a quarter on lobbying in the United States. Ukraine spends zero. But not only Ukraine spends zero, those who are pro-Ukrainian and who are lobbying at our own time, at our own expense for Ukraine will go around. We set up meetings. We set up demonstrations. many of us are being cursed and being called Trumpists and being called the enemy,
labeled
labeled by the media in Ukraine, which we feel is very, very unfair and not productive and not constructive when it comes to Ukrainian independence.
Thank you so very much, Gary. A bunch
Thank you
of
for
good
inviting
answers. We talk to you very soon, I hope. Goodbye. And
thank you. Bye-bye.
I'm Israel. Hi.
I'm Israel. Hi, and Slava Ukraini.